The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, I'd like to welcome everyone here to our webinar today. We're going to have a really exciting webinar. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the total social media application. And there's a couple different ways to sell this application in order to optimize the overall commissions. And how do you really pitch it when I'm going in and talking to an overall business? What are the opportunities of being able to talk to them, and at what level might they want to participate in the overall program? So what I'm going to do today is really describe for everyone the different options as an overall reseller on what you have, what you get as an overall reseller, how those commissions are basically earned, and maybe an advantageous way when you're going in and talking to somebody in the options of what your starting options might be versus being able to look at that person down the road. Well, the first thing to start off with is basically looking and understanding the difference between basically someone from total social media versus somebody from social outbreak. And there's two different individual websites that are basically tied to the same what we call a back office. And the back office is a system that manages everything about that particular salesperson. If it's the individual commission, reporting, tools, that's what we're referring to as an overall back office. And when we started this overall program with the total social media application here about a year and a half ago, we basically launched it with the idea of having a direct marketing company called Social Outbreak. We also had the envision of being able to take that same product, and some individual businesses and individuals don't care for the direct marketing model, so they're after more of a brick and mortar model, which is more of a traditional model of going and selling a traditional product to an individual business and being able to push it out to them. So in many, many different cases, some individuals and again some companies that you're talking to are going to be more palatable and more open to one of these individual business models. Now, both of these individual business models are connected to what we call the same back office. And let me show you how you log into that back office. You can go from the Social Outbreak side, click the login in the very upper left-hand corner here, and this will basically take you into the common back office that, again, figures out all of your retail commissions and figures out your commissions for Social Outbreak. Now, we are as an overall company, as retail sales are becoming more and more popular, we are transitioning not only a lot of the individual support and the individual sites and things that work with the overall company, but this back office here, you'll eventually see just total social media up here at the top instead of just Social Outbreak. Because from an overall company that you've got, again, you can sell through both models. And when I look at, okay, what are the tools that come with each one of these? As an overall reseller, I can pick and choose where I want to be able to resell without having to hang my hat on one of those individual models, meaning that when I sign up for Social Outbreak, I have the license to go out and sell and to earn commissions both for retail, and I have the ability to go out and sell in a direct model fashion and sign up other resellers. Within your overall tools that you have for you have replicated websites. Both of those I was able to show to you here just briefly here on the screen. This one's for total social media. You'll notice that there's nothing on this overall website that shows anything about any sort of commissions, anything about Social Outbreak, and it's basically its own individual website that you've got for talking specifically about the product. It doesn't talk about reselling or again any sort of opportunity. Then you have the overall Social Outbreak website, which if I go to that, this website is going to talk about the product. It's going to have a lot of the basically similar videos about total social media, but it's going to basically have an opportunity section here on the website, which is going to talk about its compensation plan, how you make money that you've got on being able to sign up other individual resellers. Now, it really depends upon one's individual experience and really their background on how they like to sell it. If I am a person who's into direct marketing and I really like to sell to other direct marketers and other resellers, and a lot of the friends or people that I am talking to are really open to that sort of an idea, I would maybe start off with the Social Outbreak compensation plan, because our compensation plan that we have is extremely lucrative. The pay is generally between 50 to 60% is the payout each individual month. And if you calculate the first month's pay that you have, it's even higher, because your first month's pay that you have is 30% in your social code, 30% in your social start, and then you have some money that also goes in your president's pool. So you actually have about a 63% payout, which is higher than most any other payouts in the overall industry for direct marketing. So the compensation plan is extremely, extremely lucrative when you're looking at the overall compensation plan. So if I'm an overall reseller and I could basically come and I sign up as a social outbreak person, I get this overall back office here. I get my 2 replicated websites, which I've showed you, which again, replicated simply means that all the resellers have their own individual websites that is tagged to them. Like if I come over here and look at the Social Outbreak website, you'll see this account here, and this page happens to say, join now with TED Test 4. But if I go over to the Total Social Media website, this TED Test 4, I could put up a company logo up here. But this is just another way of basically being able to have a site that belongs to me, so that when someone orders from that site or someone joins as an overall reseller, I'm able to join and be tagged to that person who is the reseller and make sure that person gets commissions. Now, if I am a person that is not wanting to be an overall reseller and I'm just a retail person, we get the question quite a bit from our side where someone is asking, if I'm a retail person, do I get one of these back offices? Do I log in if I'm a retail person, and if I go out and I want to sign up a flower shop or a dentist from this website, are they going to get a back office like this, log in and see Social Outbreak and say, well, what is Social Outbreak? And then be upset if they don't like direct marketing, be upset like they got maybe fooled or slid into a direct marketing company? And the answer to that question is no. What individual people, when they come through the retail side, what they get is a individual website, which I'm going to go to it here, which it's this individual page that you're looking at that's going to come up here in a second. Is basically a shopping cart that utilizes their login credentials, where right now it says TED Test 4. If I go ahead and log out here, that I've got, it's going to ask me from my individual side here. Once I basically logged out, I could log in and look at my overall account. But if it didn't cookie me and it was my first time coming into here, I would basically be able to log in with my login credentials. I'd be able to manage my auto pay. I'd be manage manual orders if I wanted to switch over to manual ordering. There's lots of things I would do, but it would basically say Total Social Media here. That's what an overall reseller would get from their side, from like a dentist or a florist or somebody that I'm pitching to. But now if we can go basically back to an overall sales model and me coming into the overall business and knowing that I could hang my hat and sell both ways, a lot of people often ask, well, which way is much more advantageous? If I do sign somebody up as a retail person, like I just showed you, and they only get a shopping cart and they want to basically be a reseller later, can I sign them up as a reseller later? The simple answer to that individual question is yes. An overall person that signed up as a retail person in our environment from the company side basically can easily be toggled over and be put in the overall system as a overall reseller, because the difference between a retail person and a person that's actually a reseller is resellers go into the matrix, because our reseller matrix is a 3x9 matrix, which basically works synergistically off of each individual person, and you're able to make money not just down 4 levels, but in many, many other ways in the direct marketing side. But some people will ask, if I sign up this dentist or I sign up this florist and I'm pitching that way, if later they find out, wow, this is a really great way, I see that you're making some good money with this, I'd also like to be a social media specialist and sell from this. How can I do that? And by them being able to do that, if they send in a support ticket to us that they've got through the ticketing system, we'll basically just have to put them in the matrix underneath you as the sponsor, because you basically sponsored that business. And we basically place them in the matrix, press a couple buttons in their back office, and they're done. So it's a very painless process. They don't have to pay any additional money out of their overall pocket to be able to become an overall reseller. But it's important for you to realize as a reseller, and if a retail person signs up from this website, what do they get and how are they basically function. They get separate emails coming from welcome emails, like your welcome email. If you sign up a salesperson from Social Outbreak, they get a different email because it tells them, hey, this is how you go when you get help. This is how you're able to go in and look about learning how to take advantage of the opportunity. Lots of different things. Now, there's some really great things from the overall company that we've been working on to help the overall retail sector. Like we're going to be launching a brand new support system for retail, which is launching. We have a brand new getting started section for the retail side. So as we're migrating more towards the individual retail side from our end that we've got, it's just very, very, very important to realize from our side, again, so you can explain and articulate what they get and what they don't get. Now let's basically, as the overall reseller, let's touch a little bit upon the difference from which you get paid and the frequency from which you get paid as an overall reseller. All individual retail accounts get paid in this manner right here under the retail sales. There is basically a 50% payout, with the person that recruits that overall business getting 25%. And then if I go basically through the lineage of the sponsorship tree, and the sponsorship tree is different than the placement tree, and the placement tree is someone who you might have been placed under. The sponsorship tree is who basically brings me in. So if I'm brought in as an overall reseller by Joe, and Joe's brought in by Sally, Joe, when he brings me in, is going to get 25%. Sally's going to get 10%. Whoever brought Sally's going to get in is going to get 10%. And then the fourth level is 5%. Now, one of the reasons why we basically created these 4 individual levels is oftentimes in the retail sector, there's multiple people who want to be compensated for you helping them to make that commissionable sale. To give you a good example of that, if I am going to act as a regional salesperson now, and for all the people that are out of work today in America and around the world, and if I'm a brick and mortar person, I don't want to really do direct marketing. I don't want to do all the rest of this down below here. I don't want to join Social Outbreak. All I want to do is get a bunch of business people that are used to doing traditional brick and mortar sales, and I want to benefit from them. How can I basically incentivize the people that are going out and making sales, but I'm still able to basically benefit from it? Well, oftentimes in traditional sales, if you go out and you knock on an individual church or a business or a real estate company, they're going to be interested as to how they can make money themselves. How can they make it a profit center for themselves on basically signing up their salespeople instead of you just going in and pitching to all of their 50 sales reps that are maybe real estate people? If you're going to pitch for their company, they're going to say, well, I just don't want you to sell the product to me. How can we also make money off of our individual people and not just get a pure discount? How can we make that a profit center for the church or for the company that we're basically selling it to? That's one of the reasons why we basically made the system 3 tiers. Now, some people say, well, why did we design a 4th tier in this overall system? The reason why we designed a 4th tier is in many, many different cases, there's somebody that is bringing you to the overall church. There's somebody that's bringing you to that church or that CEO or somebody that you're connected with. So instead of having to basically split up and when the money comes in to you, being that person that recruited them, or the 2nd tier and splitting that up, you can now basically cut that person by signing up also as a reseller in your overall group, and they're going to make a direct commission on an individual level, individually themselves, without you having to do any type of a split commission or something like that with the overall system. That was the madness behind this 4-tier level retail system in the overall works that's designed and implemented right here today on the overall site. So when you come into here and you're looking at this overall page that you've got, again, that's where, again, you can work yourself as like a regional salesperson. I can go in and pitch to a business where they can make 25% pitching and selling to their people in their network. The person that basically brought me to the door can make 10%. I can make 10%. Everybody comes out ahead. Even if there's somebody that's still in there, they can still make a 5% trailer on the end. But it's a very lucrative compensation plan that you got to remember is paid in the weekly compensation pay period, and it's paid the week after that sale is booked. So if I sign up a retail sales or a retail salesperson, these commissions are basically paid the week after. They're not considered in the monthly pay, because all the monthly pay is done with the social matrix and done with someone that is actually placed in the matrix and is considered a reseller. So if I sign up a retail salesperson for $150 the first month and $50 their month after, I'm going to get 25%. If I'm the person making the sale, I'm going to get 25% that I've got of the commissionable amount for a retail person, and then 25% of the commissionable amount for the $50, and get paid that each and every month in the weekly commission the week after it's booked. So again, that's paid generally on the Friday or the Saturday after that sale's booked, and that sale has to be booked between Sunday and Saturday, and that's the physical week. Now we know, and I've talked about earlier, on how you can basically take an overall business and bring them in. If they believe that they want to basically join the direct marketing piece, they can do that later, and that's a strategy. Some people have said, well, how do I pitch this? Should I pitch just retail, or should I pitch the direct marketing piece? And there's not a single answer for that, and that you really need to know the person that you're going to. If I'm going to go and knock on a dentist or a flower shop, I would not lead with the MLM or the direct marketing piece. I would lead with the retail selling piece, knowing that I can get that person to have confidence in our product, have confidence in what they're doing, and then I can introduce them to being a reseller after I show them how good the product works, and how good the whole entire environment is, and how easy it is to sell the overall product. That's when I would basically walk them into that specific portion on hey, you can be a reseller also yourself. But when they sign up from this Total Social Media website over here, they don't know anything about that. They just want to get access to the product. I get them into it and get them used to it, get them comfortable with utilizing it, and at that point they have enough core knowledge themselves to maybe even resell it. So then they can say, hey, I really am having a lot of fun as a social media specialist and a reseller. Would you like to be one too? And they can basically say, well, how do I do it? Well, you can join Social OutBreak, but when you join Social OutBreak, you can basically sell from two different ways. You can sell like I do to just to retail people, or you can basically join the Social OutBreak side and basically join that overall piece. Now, if we can basically shift, and we're going to answer questions, or if you have a question, you can basically type it into your box there on just the retail side, and I can follow back up with that later. But let's talk a little bit about the direct marketing side, because you look at the overall commissions that you've got, that you have, and you say, well, if I go ahead and make a sale here myself, and I go knock on the door of a flower shop, and I'm going to make 25% commissions every single month, how does that compare to commissions if I sign them up as an overall reseller? Well, to start off with, you have to have the basic knowledge as to when the commissions are paid and what they're paid as. The very first items here that are below the retail sales, which are item number 2 and item number 3, your social start and your social code, you have to remember are paid only on the first month's sale. So when I basically take in that $150 the very first month, the commissionable amount from that is basically split into these two types of commissions. So 20% will go to the sponsor. There's another 10% which will basically go to the sponsor above that if he's a pro member. And then you have another 30% that is basically split in the lineage of people that are above that. So if there's a person that is a VP rank or a president rank, they have the possibility, if I am the personal sponsor and I'm also the president, I can basically take 30% here and 20% here, and I, as the sponsor, if I was a president, can make 50% off of every single personal sale I make. So if I planned on taking the strategy of going into the direct marketing piece, gaining in ranking, and your ranking is established by the package that you purchase and the amount of people that you have below you that you've got and what they're doing, that basically establishes your overall rank. So if you look at your overall rank that you've got, if I plan on coming into this company and attaining a higher rank, and I want to also do some sponsoring that you've got from your side, there's a potential of making per individual sale a lot more than 25%. But then again, that's on me as signing up individual people. Now, one thing that's also important to know is that you can basically sign up these personals when it says 1 personal, 3 personals, 6 personals. We as a company count retail customers as personals. A lot of companies don't count individual customers towards your qualification, but we do. So it's very important to know that. And the only difference is when it comes up to here, you have 9 personals and 1 supervisor. In order to be a supervisor that you've got, that person has to be not a retail customer. That person has to be a person that's also a reseller and then has other retail clients underneath them that they've got that also count. So I can be very successful strategically just having a brick and mortar door knocking company or a company that solicits online. I'm basically going into the overall environment and basically selling in that overall manner and making a lot, growing through overall ranks that I've got here, and really being able to take advantage of the compensation plan. Now, I mentioned that the very first sale, which is the very first month when that person pays as a new reseller, this social start and this social code is paid over here in number 2 and number 3. Now, it's very important to understand that these individual percentiles here will end up going up that you've got and will end up allowing you to share some of those commissions. So as you have people that are in higher rank above you, and I'm not to that rank yet, imagine if I'm the sponsor, but I'm not a supervisor or a manager or a director or a VP or president. These individual sales are going to end up going above me. So if I haven't recruited a lot of people, you have to realize, just a second here, my audio just cut out for a second. Can you hear me back now? I think my audio just reconnected here. Why don't you go ahead and type in if you can hear me now. Okay, great. So it's very important for you to realize now, and your strategy is that if I'm not going to be going out from my side and signing up a lot of other resellers from my side, I might look at this 25% overall over here as the overall reseller as a pretty good deal and just run the overall direct marketing piece and not participate in that and just sell in a retail fashion. But it really depends upon what I do, how I am for mentoring, and where larger money's at that I have from my side. If I want to have my brick and mortar business as a social media specialist and just sell in that fashion, that's great. Where the larger money, and people say, well, what are the advantages? If I'm going to get 20% here and I might get some of this percentile here, it might not sound as lucrative as going and selling retail. Where the individual direct marketing piece really comes into and kicks into gear has to do with the reoccurring sales after the first month. Now, if you look at reoccurring sales, which the product will either sell on a reoccurring basis for $50 or $100 a month, and you look at these individual levels and how this is broken down, you're able to, for each individual person that is also a reseller below you, I'm able to make 5% off each individual person that's down below me. As soon as I get to 6 individual personals, again, those can be either resellers or customers, I'm going to basically be able to come in here and tap out all 9 individual levels that are down below me. The thing that is really cool about our compensation plan, and the reason why I like it, is this item number 5, our social matrix match. This match, in my opinion, is the most maybe understood and underestimated portion of our entire compensation plan. And the reason for that is that I'm able to get a personal match off of the social matrix that is paid from all of my individual people that are here, that are below me, that are my personals, and I'm able to get a match up to 40% of their entire matrix pay each individual month. Now, where this is advantageous is a lot of people say, well, if I go ahead and recruit Bob, and Bob's a reseller, he's going to recruit other social media resellers, and I go down 9 individual levels, I basically max out 9 individual levels. The answer to that question with our social matrix match is no. Let's say that I signed up a person that was placed on my 10th level. Because that person is my personal, and let's name that person Jack. If I signed up Jack on my 10th level, which would normally be in another compensation plan out of my pay level, Jack signed up a full entire matrix below him, put in thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Every reoccurring monies that basically on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th month sale, and every sale after that first month that came through, I'm going to get a match from Jack of 40% of his paycheck, whatever he brought in. I'm going to get 40% cut back to me each and every single month. And that, in my opinion, with this match, is how I can basically tap and create a whole nother matrix C to infinity, and just can keep building another matrix and another matrix and another matrix down below me, and I can basically double tap and triple tap the same exact sale that I have down below me. Now you say, well, Ted, what do you mean? It's kind of confusing when you're saying, well, how can you double and triple dip on an individual person? Well, let's imagine here for this first level that I signed Jack up at the very, very, very top, and Jack was my personal. And then I signed up another personal him below that, and then I signed up another personal below that. As those individual matrix and as those people are my personals, the more recruiting that I do early on when I join this company and sign up other resellers, the more personal recruits that I bring early on is going to benefit me later, because now as I bring somebody below those personals, and let's say that with this 3x9 matrix, and what that means is I can have 3 personal people on my front line. I can have 9 personal people on my second line. If I filled up my first line and my second line with my personal people, as I bring anybody on in my third level, fourth level, fifth level, I'm not only going to get paid from them personally myself, but I'm going to get another match from Jack, which was the first person. I'm going to get another match off of maybe Sally, which was on my second level, and maybe Jim, that was on my third level. I'm going to get another reoccurring match and another reoccurring match and another reoccurring match off of that person that was in my fourth level. So I'm going to continue to get matches and matches. And so instead of just getting that 5%, I'm getting another match and another match and another match and another match off of them. And that really, in my opinion, is how this compensation plan for somebody, if I'm going to pitch it to somebody that is looking at compensation plans, and if you're not an expert in compensation plans, it's very easy. Just talk about the very, very first month and say you get paid the social start and the social code the very, very first month. It pays 60% the very top with a 3% pool that's paid quarterly. So there's a 63% payout, and I would say match that to any other company that's out there today. See how much they basically will push the very first month, and they would agree that 63% being paid out is very, very, very high. The social start incentivizes the person that's recruiting. The social code incentivizes the leaders that are above you that are helping you be successful. So there's 2 different ways, because a lot of people don't like front-loading programs that they have where it only goes to the person who's doing the recruiting. Because people say, if it only goes to the recruiter, what's the benefit for me on trying to support those people that are below me? And that's really where the social code comes into play. Is it comes into play by being able to help those people be successful by doing individual recruiting and me making money off of their social code. Now, if I look at the social matrix, again, I explain where you're able to earn this 5% down, and not only down 9 levels, but as I create another personally sponsored person, I create a whole nother matrix down below them. And again, you can get that 10, 20, or 40% match down below it. And then you basically have here this President's Pool, which the President's Pool is a 3% accumulation of all commissionable amount, including the commissions from the retail amounts, and that's split between all of the individual presidents that share that overall pool. And it's, again, put in from all retail sales and the individual reseller sales, and that's paid out the following quarter after the quarter that it's earned. Now what I'd like to do is, again, look upon those people here that are on the call and those people that might be listening to this call. If you're a recruiter and you can work well with other people that you've got, and you're working with groups of people that, again, are open to direct marketing, I would highly recommend that you show them, again, this lower portion of this plan and the matches. Show them how they can really be, as a mentor, take advantage of the social code, and how they're still able to benefit from this social start, even with a 2-level payout. That's still extremely lucrative, and our payment amounts are extremely, extremely high as you look at, again, the overall commissionable amounts, how it's easy to understand this commission plan. Most other commission plans, they try to break up the percentiles in like 2%, 4%, 3%. We basically just make it very easy. You're going to get paid 5% on every amount that is paid after the first month, and that's where people get confused. A lot of people might think that they get paid this 63%, the 60% up here, and then all this percent down here, and all this match on the first month's money. And it's mathematically impossible, because there's no way to pay out 120% off of 100% of monies coming in. The company's money would be completely upside down. So you just have to remember from your side that all the first month's money are paid out on these first two, social start and social code, and then the social matrix and the social match are paid off of their reoccurring fees, and then the president's pool is basically paid out every individual quarter. And that's for the direct marketing piece. And then basically on the retail side, that's paid out. And again, this social start and the social code, you have to remember from your side, is again paid off that first pay, and that's again paid off that first month's money. But this matrix money is paid by the 20th of the following month that you have. So if I sign up an overall reseller and it's after their first month's pay, I'm going to get paid that on the 20th of the following month after this money is actually booked for that overall person down below you. Now what I'd like to do is take any questions. If there's any questions concerning specifically the retail model or the direct marketing model and how it's paid. Now we are looking at possibly adding an individual 2-level with some higher payouts to induce into the retail sale, which we're looking at to possibly give for the retail people that are just pushing a retail model on possibly giving higher commissions just in a 2-level additional payout system, which we're looking at now, seeing if that would be any benefit to the brick and mortar people that are just using individual door knockers and are not the direct marketing salespeople. So that's something that we're also looking at. And then again, as we mentioned earlier, we're working on additional tools and resources to further enhance the experience for the overall retail client, like a flower shop or a doctor or a lawyer or somebody of that sort. I don't see any other questions that are coming through on any individual level. Going to leave it open here for just a couple more seconds. And if not, we're going to end the webinar today that we have from our side. The only other thing I might want to add for people that you've got is there's been a lot of individual retail tools that have been put in the back office, like DVDs and things of that sort, so that you can basically go in here and take individual marketing material that you've got and utilize that from the retail side. Great. And again, thank you for everyone participating in this overall webinar today. I hope on some individual level it was very helpful to you. Appreciate your time, effort, and energy, and we'll see you in the next webinar. Thank you so much.